These new step-by-step instructions make assembly an enjoyable project. Organize the parts and let's start with the base. We're going to snap these two blocks together right now. The A block on the end, the B block on the side. So we take the B block, the side block, insert it down into the 90 on the A block, give it a push, a little click, and it's done. Here's that third block. And now we're back to the other A block, which is the other end. And here's the 90 again. So the non-90 side goes down. With another B block, no 90. We start heading up the other side. And here we go, just to finish off level number 1. And now we're going to add these corner supports, which go here and here in opposite corners, but you actually affix them to the bottom, to the underside of level 1. So we're going to flip this over. So let's just flip it over. It'll stay together, it's nice and tight. Now just find the center hole and the double pegs, and we're going to hook it to this one, just like this. Find the same hole on the opposite corner. So now we have level 1 on the ground, and the manufacturer had 2 production runs of cross supports. They're going to go in 4 places on each level, and here are the 2 different production runs. You'll either have these tubes with a simple nut and a bolt that attach to the proper holes, or you're going to have these connector rods with a 90 on each end. So this kit came with rods, so I'm going to drop it in the hole in the first slot, and like the instructions show, here are the placement of the 4 bars for this level. So we assembled the second level and snapped it on top of the first level, and now we're going to connect the 2 levels together with the 6 screws. So the screws go in these places right here and all the way around. And all you do is screw them in. So we've added the 4 cross supports to the second level, and they keep the sides pulled in tight. So here we've got the third level on, and we're just going to put the same 6 screws in the same holes all the way around. Once we get that done, there's only 2 things left to do to the base, and off we go. So the 2 things to do are to add all of the trim caps that go in the 12 open holes that would typically receive another level if your kit had one, but they simply go in place like that. And the other piece is a little support bracket that holds the cold frame to the base, and it just simply screws in like that. So we're onto the cold frame and back on the table. We've got our parts all laid out. So now we're going to attach the long aluminum profile to the back panel. But before we attach that profile, know that each panel has a top and a bottom. The bottom of each panel is defined by this narrower space versus the top of the panel where the space is wider. And here's another bottom narrow space. There is no inside or outside to a blank panel, but this top profile gutter now designates this as the outside or back of the greenhouse. When sliding the profile onto the back panel, you want a little overhang right there, about 1/8 of an inch. On the bottom profile of that back panel, it's actually shorter than the upper, and we'll explain that later. But you're going to have about that much of an overhang, almost a finger, right? Or 1, 2, 3 of the spaces. So it's not critical to be exact here, just basically that much spacing. Slide on this corner, and then you can see the thing scissor in, and in place it goes. And here are the 2 side panels with profiles attached. And notice now, by putting the top profiles on as we did, we now have designated this to be the right-hand side of the cold frame, and this to be the left. And the lid will rest on this shelf that is created on both sides. So get one end seated. Notice the little gutter. And this is the front of the cold frame now. And down I push. And starting with the back 2 corners, all right, you're going to notice that this profile is longer or taller than this one is. This is the right rear corner profile. And this little slot right here is what's going to hold the lid fully upright when we're done. So here is that right rear profile that is taller. And we're going to line it up with the holes and the pegs and snap it into place like that. Now we're going to attach the right side. Notice the shelf is inward, and we line it up with the holes and punch it in place. So now it's time to firm this up with the corner locks. We'll take one, put it in, push down to it's snug, and it's tight. And now all 3 are snug and tight, and so is the corner. Notice that the bottom one has a hole in it. That is for use of this cold frame on the ground if you choose to take it from the base, from its base, and this ground stake down through the hole holds it tightly to the ground. So now to attach that right corner profile, make sure that your little gutter is facing outward. This is the front of the cold frame, so we're facing out. And then take your profile and do not put it on like that. It goes on like this and snap it into place, like that. So here we are still in the right front corner, and now we're going to attach the front panel to the side panel, which is the right side panel. Just get it in the holes and snap. And that's good. So we snapped the front panel into place. We added all the corner locks. So we are now ready to add the lid. One thing to note is the right rear vertical profile. It's taller than on the other side. That is to hold the lid in an upright position. So now I have the lid upright, of course. And you're going to insert the J or hook on the lid profile down into the slot on the back panel profile. And it looks like this in motion. Easy to put on, easy to remove the lid. Another cool feature is the airflow bracket. Here it is in the closed position for the lid. You can open it for a little airflow, more airflow, even more, or all the way up on the bracket. So before we attach the cold frame to the base, we're going to add the weather stripping. All you do is separate it, peel it back, and stick it on. And now we're going to attach the cold frame to the base. You take this bracket, little connector, and it actually slides down inside of the bottom profile. It pushes down in, and with a simple screw, you just screw it in place. Consider filling much of the first two levels with peat moss because it's light and easy to work with. Then a layer of compost or potting mix to the top. So if you start off the season with all three levels stacked, but later decide to separate or store the entire unit for winter, these release tabs free each block from each other. Thanks for watching this tutorial, and please reach out to us 7 days a week for any additional questions. Have fun and let us know how you did.